Hello, neighbor. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. Hi, Kim. How are you? I have two Christmas cards that we can make together tonight, or that you can make if you're watching later. We are going to use a really cool stamp set that I just got in. Now, it's from the regular catalog, so it's not new, but it's called Hope and Peace. I am really excited about this stamp set. It's all words. So, okay, let's see. It doesn't look like you can see it. Hold on. This way. Sometimes I forget which way I'm supposed to turn when I'm on the video for you to see what I'm holding up. So I think that you can see it now. It's called the Hope and Peace stamp set, but I really like it. It's all words, and I think it's going to go really well with the paper that I have used last week as well. And it's called One Horse Open Sleigh. It's only available online. So if you are looking for this paper, you can only get it online. That's where you'll find it. It's an online exclusive. So it's not in any of the catalogs. But the stamp set is from the regular catalog. So, and again, that's Hope and Peace. But we'll be talking about that a little bit more as we go along. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful summer. I feel like it's going by so fast. But I'm going to be watching for your comments on here. And I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to get started making our two cards for tonight. So if you want to stamp along with me, you're going to need a Christmas stamp set, some Christmas designer series paper, your stamps and your ink, your scissors, all your little regular supplies, your scissors, your glue, maybe some pretty ribbon. I do have new ribbon too that I'll show you, and maybe some sparkly gems, because what's Christmas without sparkly gems? Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started. I will be watching for your comments and hopefully I'll see them. Sometimes I can't, but I'll be watching for them. Okay, I'm going to disappear for just a minute while I switch the camera view. Okay, so here we are over in our stamping space. Oh, I'm glad you got your make and take. So you'll, in your pack of paper, you will have these papers too, if you want to make the cards that I'm making tonight. So I'm going to use this Hope and Peace stamp set. I was waiting for this to come. I really love the words in this. So, so we're going to use that tonight. And I just got this pretty ribbon, and it's the gold and silver 1/8 inch trim combo pack. So these two come together. They come together in a pack. And I thought it would be fun to use both colors tonight. So this one I'm actually going to do second. So I'm going to set this little pile of supplies to the side. And I've got my scissors here and my bone folder. I should probably put those off to the side too. Otherwise I'll lose track of where they are. Okay, and we're going to use the silver trim first. And I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. I also have 2 pieces of the designer series paper. Now, I really hesitated to use the back side of this paper because the front side is so pretty. But I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to order myself another pack of paper. So, and if you don't know, tomorrow is the last day of bonus days. So Stampin' Up! Bonus days, you get a $5 coupon for every $50 that you spend. Okay. So, but don't lose your email. When you order, they will send you a code in your email. And then you have to save that code until August when you can spend those bonus dollars. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our Night of Navy cardstock, and I'm holding it the long way, and I'm going to put it at 4 1/4. Okay, and we're going to cut it there, and we're going to set one piece off to the side. Now we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then we're going to move it to 6 1/2, and we're going to score it again. Okay, so this is what your cardstock will look like. Hopefully you can see those little lines there. All right, and then what we're going to do, I've got my, this is my Stampin' Pierce mat. I like to do my scoring on here as well as my stamping. So we're going to fold it at 5 1/2. That's right in the center. And then we're going to use our bone folder just to press that fold. And then what we're going to do is where we scored it at 6 1/2, we are going to fold it back the other way. So I have done this fold before, so some of you might recognize it. It's called a book fold. So our card actually will open this way. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little of our liquid glue. I did go to a craft night the other day, and somebody asked me if I brought Mortimer with me, but I hadn't. I left him home that day. I'm sure he was disappointed, probably didn't know what to do. Hi, Tammy. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so now we're going to glue down this part. And what this does is this forms what they call a book binding card. So it'll open up just like that. Okay, and the first thing we are going to do is we need a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/4 by 4. And I want my lines to go this way. So I'm going to turn it to the side, and I'm going to cut it here at 4. And I'm going to turn it again and cut it at 4 1/4. Okay, so there is my piece that's going to go on here. And then I'm going to cut a little piece that's 4 by 3/4 of an inch. And that piece is going to go right here on the side. Okay. So then we can go ahead and glue those down. So we'll turn them over. And we're just going to use a little liquid glue. And we're going to go around the edges. Now I'm going to glue them on one at a time, but if you are brave, You can put glue on both and then just glue them one at a time. Okay, so there's the one that's going to be on the edge. All right, and then we're going to put some glue on this one. I don't know if you noticed or not, but in the very beginning of my video tonight, I am wearing a fleece. I'm down in the basement and it's so cold in here that I was down here for a little while earlier and my fingers went numb. So tonight I put on my sweater. I actually turned the air off upstairs. So if everyone up there gets too hot, it's going to be my fault. But I'm not sorry, at least at least not yet. Because I don't want my fingers to go numb while I'm crafting. Okay, so there is the base of our card. These, you can do this with any cardstock or any paper. I know it seems silly to be cold right now. It's so nice outside, but I was cold. All right, next. We need a piece of basic white that is 3 1/4 by 3. So have some right here in my scraps that I think are going to be big enough. So we need 3 1/4 by 3. Okay, and that is going to go this way. And then with our other piece of paper, what I really want for my square here is kind of this part of the paper right here. So I'm going to put that in my trimmer. Let's see. I'm going to put it at, I'm trying to think where would be good. I'm trying to get this part right here to be in the center. So I put it in at 3 3/4. And then I'm going to cut it at, let's see, I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4 this way. I'm kind of measuring as I go along, so hopefully this works out. I love this DSP too. It does make card making so easy. Okay, and so our piece of white here was 3 by 3 3/4. So we need our next piece to be 2 3/4 by 3. So I'm going to cut this side at 3. And I'm going to cut this side at 2 3/4. Okay, now we lost a lot of our trees there, but there's still some left. And there's these tiny little footprints that go along the bottom. So I kind of like how that turned out. Okay, I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to glue these together. So I need a little bit of liquid glue around the edge and a squiggle in the middle. And see how I left that little spot for my finger so I can turn it over. I want those, whoop, got a little carried away. I want those footprints to be at the bottom. So I'm going to put it on this way. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over. And I think there's some designer series paper in the new mini catalog too that's going to be very similar, not similar in color, I don't think, to this, but similar in the fact that it will make making cards quick. I love when I'm able to take the time to really concentrate on making a card and stamp my own paper and cut out lots of little fussy things. But the reality is, a lot of the time, I just can't squeeze that much in. And so it's really nice to have paper that makes card making quick and easy. All right, now I'm going to take this silver trim and I am going to wrap it around here. Now, this is the first time I've used this. So if I'm trying to tie a bow and it doesn't work out, you guys, that is why. Because I haven't practiced like I should. Okay. So, oh, it slipped off the edge. See, it's a little tricky. Can I get it back on? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. And you notice that I'm tying it upside down. Since this is the first time I've used this ribbon, I'm trying to stick to my old familiar tricks. Okay, so there's my loop on the left. And then I'm going to go around and through. And tighten it up. Okay, so I have to say, I did feel like tying that bow was not too hard. So it was a little, okay, the ribbon was a little slippery, but not bad. Okay. Then, oh, I need to scoot it a little bit because I don't want it to go off the end. There. I don't want it to hang over the end of the card when I go to put it in the envelope. This ribbon is really pretty. Okay, so there is the first part of our card. And then we need a little piece of white here to stamp on our sentiment. And I think, what do I think? I think we'll use, let's see. I feel like that one is a little big, but let's use Emmanuel, God with us. I think that one is really pretty. Okay. So now I'm going to set the card up here to the side. Bows are hard sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry you can't get your account to sync. I will try to help you with that. Oh, and I haven't put my stamps together yet. I was so excited to get these, but I haven't put them together yet. All right. So here is the one we need. And I won't make you guys sit through my putting them all together. But you will have to watch me do this one. Okay. So I always peel off the back of my label. and then peel off the back of my stamp. And I try really hard to line up one side and just set it down really gently. And then I kind of eyeball to make sure the other side is lining up before I press it down. That usually helps me get it more in the center and less over the edge. Because if you don't line up your words right, then when you go to stamp, they'll be crooked. And I do not like crooked words. Sometimes it doesn't matter so much, but if I was stamping right on the paper, which I have done with this paper because it's so pretty, you don't need a whole lot else with it. Okay, and I've got Night of Navy. And I'm just going to tap. Now you'll notice with this one, I'll tap in my ink a little bit sideways. And that's just because for some reason, this ink pad, ever since I've got it, has been a little bit lumpy, but there's a flat spot right in the center. So I always try to use that center spot so that my ink is nice and even. Okay, and then I'm going to practice stamp because it's a new stamp. And that looks good. Okay, I'm just going to stamp here on my piece of white. Just like that. Okay, and when I'm using a dark color, after I stamp, I always stamp off a couple of times on my scrap piece of paper just because that way less ink gets on my chamois, so that less times I have to take it upstairs and wash it out. Just a little helpful hint if you need it. Okay. So there are our words, and I'm gonna fussy cut my words out. Lost track of where I put my scissors for a minute. So I'm just gonna go around my words, and I'm not gonna go too close. But I want a nice little white edge around them. Now, if you prefer, you could cut them out with a tag shape, or you could just use probably about a 3/4 inch piece of white or even an inch piece. But I kind of like the look of having the word shape around them. Okay, so there's our little word. And then I'm going to grab my little sponge daubers here. Oh, and I was hoping I had one that was Night of Navy already, but I don't. Okay. All right. Since I don't have any that are Night of Navy, I'm going to use my blending brush because I already have that in blue. I feel like stamping off before you scrub really does get a lot of ink off of those stamps. Okay, so we're going to tap our blending brush in here and we're just going to brush it really gentle along the edges. And this just kind of adds a little tiny bit of color to that edge. If you want it to be more blended in, then you definitely wouldn't need to do that. So there is our little word. And we're just going to put this on right up here in the corner. And I'm going to use, you know what, actually, I kind of wish that I had not sponged it. So I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. It's a little too spongy for me. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it again. Sometimes I think that I know how I want it to go, and then it turns out I don't. Okay, so we're going to stamp it one more time. And I think I don't want it to be quite as dark as what it is in the first one. So again, I'm going to turn it sideways just because my stamp pad is a little bumpy. I'm going to stamp off and then huff on my stamp a little bit and stamp again. Okay, and I don't know if you can see in the video, but this one is a little bit paler than what this one is. And I think I like that shade a little bit better. Hi, Anne. Thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, so we're going to go back again, and we are, oh, hold on. I didn't stamp off, did I? And I need to clean that stamp real quick. I do really love these papers though. It's called One Horse Open Sleigh. It's probably my favorite paper, Christmas or winter paper so far. And this is our stamp set, the Hope and Peace. Okay, and then we're just gonna fussy cut these words out. And if I can remember, I always try to turn my paper instead of my scissors. I don't know if I remembered that the first time I was cutting this out, but I do remember now. You tend to get a smoother line, and it's a little bit easier once you get the hang of it than trying to twist your scissors around to match the paper. It's much easier to turn the paper as you cut. Okay, so here is our sentiment. Yeah, I like that better. And we're just going to put that on the front, and we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals just so that it kind of sits off to the side a little bit. Right, and I'm going to get out a new set of mini ones because I used mine up the other day. One set of mini dimensionals. It's probably about time I ordered some more again. I really love that paper. I think you'll like the set with the sleigh too. It really is nice. Okay, so we're going to put these little dimensionals at the top. And hopefully I might should have moved that down a little bit, but I didn't. So hopefully these will fit right inside there. Okay. So I want my words to go just like that. And then I'm going to use some of these rhinestone basic jewels. Now, there's a lot of jewels that I really like, but these are probably my all-time favorite. And there's a couple things I really love about them. So you can color these with your Stampin' blends and make them any color you want them to be. So that's one of my favorite things about these. Plus, their original color goes with almost everything. So if you're looking to put gems on something, you can use these as stars or snowflakes or you can color them and use them as colored gems. They can be almost anything. But they are my probably my go-to for sparkly gems. Simply because of that. Now I'm gonna put a little bunch of them on here. Maybe a gaggle. I don't know how many is in a gaggle, but seems like it could be 5, right? 2 is a couple, 3 is a few, 4 is some. So here's our first card with a gaggle of basic rhinestones. So there is the first one, a book fold Christmas card with some pretty rhinestones. Okay, and now we'll move on to the next one. And I did have some ideas about the next one before I started making it, but it changed partway through. So hopefully it will go the way I think it will go. All right, so we're going to cut this card the same way that we cut the last one. So we've got the long side here, and we're going to put it in. This is crumb cake cardstock, and we're going to put it in at 4 1/4 and cut it in half there. And then we're going to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, and we can fold it and press this part with our bone folder. Okay, and then now this is another paper that had 2 pretty sides. So I really love this side and I really love that side. So you could use either side to make this card. Both sides would be very pretty. But tonight I'm going to use this side. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you liked it. All right, so what we're going to do this time is we're going to cut our paper here at 4 inches so that the trees are standing up. And then we're going to cut it at 5 1/4. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. That's kind of the basic size for the front. All right, and then we want a little kind of a skinny piece of crumb cake. Not too skinny though. All right, so we're going to make that 5 1/4. And let's see. You want it to be by 3/4. Now, sometimes it's hard to cut a small piece, but this trimmer, as long as you're really careful snapping it down, you can hold it here and even cut a small piece smaller. Okay, so I want this to go over here on the side like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our piece of crumb cake and we're going to add our liquid glue to the back. Just like that. And we can just put that along the side here. And then we're going to take our piece of gold trim and we're going to wrap it around and put a little bow on that side. So this time, what I'm going to do is cut a piece that's just longer than my layer. It really helps to have your scraps sorted. I will show you my little bin here in a second, as long as I remember. But it's really been working out well. Okay, so I need a little tiny glue dots. So what I'm going to do is take my glue dots and just fold them in half because my ribbon is very thin and I don't really want them to hang over the edge because then while I'm doing this, they might get stuck to something else. All right, so then we're just going to fold our little glue dot in half to make it smaller. Trying to make sure I put it on the right end. We'll add it to this end so that we've got one on each end. And then what we're going to do is hold it up here in the center of that spot. And we're just going to fold it over so that glue dot catches on the back. And same thing here at the bottom. Now it's all open in the middle there, but that's good because we're going to take this under and we're going to tie our bow. So we're going to take the right over the left and pull it tight. Not too tight, because just in case we need to redo anything. I'm going to pull a loop up on the left and I'm going to take this around behind it and push it up through the center this time. Oh, and it twisted a little bit. See, that's why I don't pull it real tight until I get it where I want it to be. Sometimes it does twist a little bit. But this time I wanted my bow to go this way instead of sideways. And I found that this is the best way for me to do that. Not to wrap it around and tie it, but to tie it onto a separate piece. Okay. So we've got our little bow up there. And I'm going to make it kind of tiny because I didn't give myself much space there by the edge. Okay, so there's our teeny bow. And we're just going to trim the ends. Okay. Now we're going to take this and turn it over and we're going to add our liquid glue to the back. All right, and I'm still going to show you my little scrap storage so you can see. I only have one right now, but I'm thinking I probably need to either make more or get rid of some of my scraps. Or probably both. That's probably what I really need to do is both. All right, so there is the first part of our card. Okay, and I'll take a break real quick and show you my little scraps. So we have clear envelopes, as you guys know. And I got this little bin from the Dollar Tree. And so inside my clear envelopes, I put all my scraps that are 4 1/4 inches wide or less. So I have lots of little envelopes here in the front. These are like colors. And then I have all of my, I guess my neutrals back here. So I've got some that are shimmer cardstock and the white and the black in the back. So, and then I do have some bigger pieces that don't fit anywhere in the very back. But these little bins from the Dollar Tree are really good for organizing scraps. And the envelopes come in a pack of 40 or 50, maybe it's even 50 for, I think, $6 or $7. So it's pretty economical, really. And when you're done using them for that, you could use them for something else. Okay, so back to our card. So here is our card. And on this one, I want to put this peace on earth, goodwill to all, because this seems very peaceful, like a peaceful stamp to me. Let's see. All right, so we're going to punch out the one that we need. And we're going to put that on our stamp. Hi, Annie. The DSP scraps, I do the same thing with, but I actually keep them in the pack with the rest of the bigger pieces of DSP. So I probably could have a separate stash for that, but then when they retire, I pull them out. So okay, so here is our stamp, our peace on earth. But I like having those little scraps because a lot of the time I will pull from that first. And if my idea for when I'm designing can be changed so that the scraps fit, instead of my cutting a whole new piece, a lot of the time I'll change my plan. Okay, so now here's our peace on earth, goodwill to all. And I feel like I need a round shape for that. Let's see. And I don't have the 2 3/8 inch punch yet, but this 2 1/4 looks like it will fit for now. So I'm going to grab a piece of basic white here out of my little, this actually was an envelope that came with something else in it, and I just sliced off the top and put my bigger pieces of white in here. So, but it still fits in the back of that little basket. Okay, so what we're gonna do is take our crumb cake ink and I'm gonna stamp. Okay, first I have to practice stamp because these are new and I can never be exactly sure how they're gonna stamp until I practice a little bit. All right, so we're gonna stamp right in the middle of our basic white. And then I'm gonna clean that off real quick. And then if this was the 2 3/8 inch punch, I would use that. But this is 2 1/4. So you could also cut a little square out or yeah, I don't think it would have fit in the 2-inch punch. Okay, so there is that. And I'm actually gonna punch let's see, another circle out of the crumb cake, and then I think I'm gonna punch one out of that gray as well. Let's see if I can. Okay, this is smoky slate, and I think that'll go. So we're gonna punch out one more circle. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue the smoky slate one down first. And I want these, I'm gonna tuck it under that ribbon a little bit because remember we didn't glue it down. So we could tuck it under there. I'm so happy you're here tonight. Okay, and then we're gonna use some Stampin' Dimensionals on this next one. Now I'm gonna use the larger ones for this, just because we can save the smaller ones for when we're doing little stuff. Okay, so we're gonna put that one down here a little bit. And then we're gonna put this one up here. But what we're gonna do is on this bottom part, we're gonna put one Stampin' Dimensional. Oh, that was not the bottom part. Let's see. Where did that fall? All right, I'm gonna real careful pull that up. It wasn't too stuck down yet, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. Okay, so I'm gonna put it over here. And then up here on the top, up here, I'm gonna put 2 so that the layers kind of match, because this one is popped up. So where it overlaps, this one we only need 1, but where it's up here, we need 2 for it to lay flat. All right, let's see. Do we think that's going to be enough? I think so. All right, so we're going to peel those off. And I'm just going to stick it right here. Okay. And then I think I do need one little glue dot underneath there. So we're going to take our glue dots. We're going to fold them in half again because remember that ribbon is really skinny. And then I'm just going to use the poker end of my take your pick tool to pull it off of there. And then I can tuck it right behind that ribbon and place it down without getting stuck to anything. Okay, so there's that. And then what do we need? Our sparkly rhinestones again. Okay. So I've got the other end of my take your pick tool. And I'm just gonna make a little more of that sticky stuff come out. And we can put our little gems on. Just like that. All right, so there is our second card for tonight. Now, if you place an order using the host code, I wasn't able to put it up at the beginning of the video, but I will put it in the comments. If you place an order using the host code, by tomorrow night, you can choose any one of this month's Stampin' Sunday card kits to be sent to you. So what you will get is enough to make 2 of each card from that week. You'll get the cardstock, the embellishments, and the designer series paper. And then if you spend $50 or more, I'm not sure what I said the first time, but it was $35 to get the kit. If you spend $50 or more, then you'll also get a full sheet of the rhinestones to go with that. So these were our 2 cards for tonight. We've got this book fold card and this top fold card. So I hope that you enjoyed that tonight, that it gave you some ideas about what to do with your Christmas paper and Christmas stamps. Have a great week. Happy stamping.